because we have so many people. Hello. I'm Nicole Sixx, and this is the Womanthology panel. Well, we have a ton of ladies on the panel today, and to make sure that everyone has a time and an opportunity to ask questions, we're going to keep our questions to about 3 for us, and then leave the rest for you. We also have a major reveal today, so very exciting stuff ahead. Can everybody hear me fine? I hear an echo. Okay, good. All right, so first, ladies, I'm going to send it down the line, starting with Renae, and introduce yourselves.
My name's Renae De Liz. I'm project manager of Womanthology and comic book artist.
I'm Barbara Kesel. I'm louder than Renae, and I'm a comic book writer editor who goes back long before most of you have started reading comics.
Hi, I'm Jean Kang. I mostly work in animation. This was my first published comic work.
Hi, my name's Laura Morley. I help Renae out with some of the admin and project management for the book. It's my first published written comic. So,
I'm Kat Saggs. I'm a comic book artist, mostly in Star Wars, but now in comics.
I'm Sandy King. I'm generally a movie producer, but I also created John Carpenter's Asylum comic.
my name's Crook. As my day job, I'm an educator. I talk about things like sexual assault and domestic violence. And consent and boundaries, healthy relationships. But for Womanthology, I was a writer, and this is my first work being published.
Hi, I'm Mary Bellamy. I'm an assistant animator, a professional artist card artist, and a independent comic book artist. I was the editor of the Womanthology sketchbook, a contributor, and a colorist.
I'm Jody Houser. I'm a webcomic creator, and I was a writer on Womanthology, and it was also my first published print comic.
I'm Kimberly Komatsu. I'm a children's book author, and this is my first published work in comics field.
Now, for a lot of us, this is our first, because that was the goal of Womanthology, was to give women a chance to get published in comics, because it's very difficult to break in, no matter who you are, and a lot of us would say it's perhaps more difficult if you're a member of the fairer sex. So, now, before I get to my next question, I have to have Renae do the reveal, because somebody on this panel can't answer the question until the reveal is given. So, Renae, why don't you talk about the big news?
Well, I guess the news is that IDW picked up Womanthology for an ongoing series. So it'll start, yeah, it's great. So it's going to be five single issues, and they'll be collected into a larger trade paperback. But the theme for this series is space, and each issue will have its own sub-theme as well to kind of break up the issues a little bit. But again, it'll be the same thing with every book, is that there'll be professionals paired with newcomers, and there'll be some people from the current heroic book and people that haven't been on Womanthology at all yet. So if you're interested, just go find the secondary list on digital webbing and sign up, because I'm always on there looking to see who's really enthusiastic about comics and who wants it the most. So.
Alrighty, so then I go on to ask.
And before I forget, sorry, that's what I was going to talk about, is that Sandy King there is the writer for the first issue. So she's going to be paired up with Tanya Wooten, who's an artist on Womanthology Heroic. So that's exciting.
Which leads directly into my next question. What was your contribution to Womanthology, Renae?
I just kind of managed, pretty much every aspect, or tried to help with every aspect of Womanthology, and I ended up, it was my original idea to put it on Twitter with Jessica Hickman. She actually gave me the original idea, was to say, hey, you should do an all-girl anthology sometime. And so I put it out on Twitter to see who was interested. And that day there was about 100 emails of interested women who wanted to be a part of it. So from there, just kind of ballooned onward to become this big, massive, weapon of a book that we have. So, but yeah, just in every aspect, I tried to help a little bit, and I had Laura Morley over there who was right there along with me the whole time and helped me with everything. So thank you, Laura. But I also drew a story in the book, so.
Yeah, it's a good story.
I wrote a story called Glimmer Suit that's in there that's illustrated by somebody else on this panel. You'll find out when it goes down the line.
I drew the story In Every Heart, a masterwork written by Gail Simone and edited by Mariah Hooner.
As Renae was saying, I helped out with some aspects of organising the project, so because there were over 150 contributors on the book and over 2,000 backers supported our Kickstarter campaign, I was kind of a first point of contact for lots of those. I helped put some of the teams together and basically wrote a lot of email.
If you got an email, it's probably from Laura.
I drew a story called Glimmer Suit written by someone else on this panel.
I read it.
I wrote The Greatest of These and Blue Della Quanti. She is the artist who did a beautiful job. It's on page 128.
I contributed a pinup for the main book, and I colored 4 of the stories. One was written by Gail Simone and illustrated by a group of young sisters, the Ladd Sisters. And I also edited and designed the Womanthology sketchbook.
I wrote a story called Everwell with art by Fiona Staples and Adriana Blake.
I wrote a story called The Aviator and the Elephant. It's illustrated by Tanya Boone.
And I made a story called Fearless about a knight who turns out to be a queen. And I also helped with the social networking, as most of you probably know. So, alrighty, ladies, tell me a little bit about your own charity endeavors beyond Womanthology, because I know that Womanthology is in part to help get us all into the industry, but also to do good. Which the new, before we go on to that, Renae, tell a little bit about the new series and how that'll break up, because it'll be split. That was sorry. Yeah, the new series with how the new one will go as far as
Yeah, so this one's a little bit different in that everyone on it will get a page rate, but it's still creator-owned. So that's nice. There'll still be some proceeds for charity, but IDW is picking this one up and funding it and just really, really wanted to help make it, just help support more women in comics. So I'm very grateful to IDW for what they're doing. So, thank you.
And again, go on and say your other charity work beyond Womanthology and what it means to you.
I rarely haven't had the opportunity to do much charity work, but I used to work at a nursing home and I tried to volunteer there as much as I could because I do love working at nursing homes and trying to be there for them. They're just really interesting people.
I'll give you the very quick overview because I have a huge long list of volunteering at charities and doing work over time. I reorganized and helped build up the Irvington Home Tour in Portland, Oregon, and changed it from something that took money out of the local budget to something that gave money back to all the local charities. I really like, and when I get comp copies and I sell them, the money goes to one of 2 places, either kiva.org, which provides microfinancing for small businesses, or donorschoose.org, which is an awesome charity where teachers can put up grant requests for things they need in their classrooms. And it makes me sick when the grant requests are for things like watercolor paint and brushes and paper, things that ought to be in school, or school libraries in some cases. So I really encourage you to go check out that site also.
Lately I've been trying to lower my carbon footprint and also looking at what the chemicals are in products we use, especially women, because we use 50 different kinds of products to make us look good. So if you read the ingredients list, it's full of chemical-y stuff. A lot of it is a preservative, and some of it causes cancer. And so I've been encouraging my friends to try switching to all natural products, products that have been made by small businesses and also been sustainable, and also try to keep them healthy because you're not using any products that will potentially give you cancer in the future.
I think my most WonderCon appropriate charity story is that last year I wanted to raise some money for East Anglia Children's Hospices. So I live in Eastern England in the United Kingdom. And there's a children's hospice that cared for a friend of mine's child while he was unfortunately terminally ill. It's a great charity that does excellent work. And I wanted to raise money by doing an ab sale of the City Hall building in my town. And I thought, okay, if I can make double my fundraising target, I'll do it dressed as Batgirl. My friends are all comic book geeks, so we made double the target. So I was so fixated on worrying about wearing spandex that I completely forgot to be scared of abseiling. So if you ever have to do that, I strongly recommend doing it in skin-tight lycra.
Are there pictures?
There are pictures.
Googling this later.
Unfortunately, it does come up if you Google my name.
I have done a lot of work with Make-A-Wish through all the Star Wars work that I've done with the 501st. And I do support the No Hate campaign and marriage equality. And I do a piece annually for Wonder Woman Day, which raises money for domestic violence shelters.